Meanwhile, I know it's been a long night, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on background, but I'm going to say this. You've heard 2.5 hours worth of the daylight side of Psi. We're not going to go into the night side of Psi. And I personally feel, and I've been involved professionally with the remote viewing program since 1976 in one form or another. So you would think that I would be totally 100% a remote viewer. And of course I support that field. There's no question about that. But I don't want to neglect the easiest part of how you and I, or anybody, can be really psychic. It can be as good as the best remote viewer. It's your dream life. It's so easy to do. And really, you can get some really accurate material. You thought some of the sketches here were great. Wait till you start drawing your dream imagery. Then you will realize there are two ways of cracking the Psi nut. Remote viewing conscious state, and the easy one, at night when you are asleep. Now, if I can do this right. So the main objective tonight is to get geared up for the night side of Psi. That time at night when you are asleep and dreaming, when the Psi field opens up to you, if you are willing to let it come into your dream consciousness. Just like Russell was saying, letting the universe come into your waking state consciousness. It's there all the time. Take advantage of it at night. So the workshop will be focusing on that. And tonight I'm going to be talking about how you experience and recall a Psi dream. Now, I'm not going to go into a big survey right now. I'll save that for Friday morning. But I'm assuming that many of you already do remember dreams, so you should have an easy transition to go to a specific dream, a dream that has the hidden information that I'll be talking about shortly. If you don't remember, if you don't have a lot of practice in remembering dreams, don't worry about it. You have 3 to 4 nights for the rest of the week to actually remember a dream. So the workshop will be focusing on beefing up your ability to remember dreams and also giving you very basic guidelines, encouragement, specifics on how you can move to the next step and move it out of the random kind of dreams that most of us have. And in the dream research world, most dreaming is referred to as full of day residue or things that tend to be kind of not that important. But I maintain that most all dreams have some importance, and we'll be talking about that as well, even though the focus will be on the Psi part, the ESP part, the psychic part of our dreamscape. Now, in addition to just simply remembering a dream, we're going to focus on remembering what I call the Psi dream, or a dream that has the material that will be in an envelope that I'll talk about shortly. Now, I'm not going to dwell on this in a lot of detail. Most of you know about all this. You will be dreaming anyway. 6 to 8 times a night, maybe 1/3 or maybe 20 to 30% of the time, you will be in a dream state, whether you realize it or not. So if you're going to be dreaming anyway, which is my main thesis, take advantage of just a few seconds or maybe a minute's worth of dreams that gives you some really significant information, like remote viewing or some other form of information you couldn't ordinarily get. So whatever the case is, you will be dreaming. That's a given. So now is the time, starting tonight or any night for the rest of the week, and certainly by the time you get through the workshop, you will then have a different perspective on dreams, I hope, and how you can actually bring them into your life on a routine basis. Now, I will be honoring, in the beginning of my workshop and throughout, the founder, in my view, of the first fully awareness that you and I can have Psi dreams. Now, back in the 1960s, when Stan Krippner, and I'm sure you all know of him, set up the Dream Telepathy Lab, as they called it at that time, in Brooklyn, New York, to study the phenomenon of people who can recall dreams that have psi content, and a whole series of research programs that came out of that I'll be going over in some detail on the Friday workshop. So that's going to be my key reference point. I'll be talking a lot about that work. I've known the people that were involved in that directly. Ullman, I've known him, met with him over the years, Bob Vantercastle, and many others, and not just to mention Stan Krippner. Stan had also written a very interesting monogram that's a little hard to find, but it really gives you a good history. I'll be going into that to some extent as well as a wealth of other kinds of material that's available on Psi Dreaming. Now, I'm a member of the Association for the Study of Dreams, so I'm usually quite tied into the dream research community. I will also be drawing on some really good work, some analytical work that Chris Rowe and Sherwood did some years ago to help back up the findings of some of the dream research. And this one here focuses on the Maimonides work, but that report also covers work with dreams that have been carried on since the Maimonides laboratory closed in the early 1970s. I think it was 1975 or 6. So I'll be going into this in some detail as well. But let's get right to the point of what we want to do tonight and any of the nights remaining, either tonight, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. You got, what, 4 nights to work on the project I'll be talking about shortly. But I want to really mention the best way to start this. And this is what we call in the DreamWork community the Psi Dream focus statement. Dream workers like to think of it as an incubation intention, but it's really a way in which you focus your mind, your objective, prior to when you go to sleep, on what you want to dream about. Now, we're making a big jump. We're going right from consciousness into a Psi dream. I'm not saying any kind of dream, although that may happen as well. Whatever the case, your focus tonight, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, whichever one works for you, will be this. Just simply, and there's a handout. All this is on your handout. Read this focus statement. I also have another one, but something like this, and you can rephrase it to suit you. Tonight I desire to experience and recall a dream that represents the content of the target picture envelope designated as A7NQ. I will wake up immediately after the dream and will easily recall the dream. So now we're hitting 2 aspects here. Not just a dream, you'll wake up and remember the dream. Many times I know, I do it frequently, you wake up knowing you had a dream but you can't remember it. But tonight, or whatever other night you want to work on this week, then intend to recall a dream that has the content of the target picture envelope that I will pull out shortly. And you also give yourself the suggestion that I will, I the dreamer, I will wake up immediately after the dream. Key point, wake up immediately after the dream and easily recall it. Now, there's another dream focus statement that I have found over my years of working with dream groups that some people actually prefer, so I'll give you a choice. Here's an alternative dream focus statement. Tonight I desire a dream that presents the designated target picture in the same way that I will see it on Friday morning when it is revealed in the Psi Dreaming workshop. Basically, this is precognition. So you have your choice of going to the target in a remote viewing style. And by the way, I do use the term dream remote viewing as well. So it's synonymous in my view, and I'll explain that in more detail during the workshop, why I use them synonymously. But you also have the option of going ahead in time. And you just imagine walking into the room shortly after the introduction, because I'll be getting right to the dream event shortly after we begin on Friday, and there's going to be the picture that will be the target picture for you to dream about for any one of these nights, tonight, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Now, let me go ahead and give you a couple of guidelines here. First, I'd like to see a show of hands briefly. How many people generally do remember dreams? Okay, so I'm not going to tell you a lot that's new, and I know some people didn't put up their hands, so I'll just go over this real briefly. I've already talked about the objective. It's good if you can write it out. You don't have to keep writing it dozens of times, but you get a nice plain piece of paper or whatever you have and write out that objective that's in front of you in the handout. I've talked about the nights. It can be any night between now and Thursday. Yes. No, I'm giving you the freedom to have a dream for the objective of the target envelope any night. Now, if you want to do more than one, go ahead for the same objective. So it's up to you if you want to choose tonight as a night, or Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday, whatever might be more convenient for you. It's up to you, whichever one you want. If you do it tonight and you get dreams, there's no reason you can't do it again tomorrow. Just repeat that focus statement. You may have personal dreams, and you will recognize that as your personal dream, and you feel, well, I didn't quite get the target, but I'll come back again because it doesn't, try again. So then you have an option of doing another dream, doing another dream focus for the same target, for the target. So any of these nights, whatever works for you. Now, when you wake up from the dream, presumably you will wake up and remember a dream or a dream fragment. Try to have a notepad that's real close. You don't have to turn a light on or anything. Have a pencil there, a pen, and check out the logistics here. Just reach over it without turning the light on, because that'll wake you up even more. You don't want to get too awake. And just grab that little pen and just scribble out a couple of words that capture the essence of the dream. You do not have to write out the dream at that time. You can if you want, but it's not necessary. Generally speaking, all you need to do is jot down a couple of key words and then fix it in memory. Don't move, just lie motionless until you have remembered that dream. Jot down a couple of key words and then go back to sleep. And if you feel you want to have a follow-on dream, recycle. Say, I desire to have a follow-on dream to what I just had. So the key is, wake up. When you wake up from the dream, lie there motionless until you really feel you have it memorized. And I'll be going over drills, how to do that in the workshop. Then when you're comfortable that you remember that dream, reach over and jot down a couple of words. No full sentences, just a key word, a key action, whatever it might be, on your pad. Then go back to sleep. Then in the morning, at your first opportunity, get your notepad and look over those words and reconstruct the dream from memory. Because those buzzwords, those keywords on your notepad will do it for you. Just like an icon on your computer, just flood them all back. And then write out the details of the dream, your narrative at that time, based on your keywords that you have. Now, when you do that, also, and I really encourage this, and this goes back into my remote viewing background, make sketches of key imagery. That really is important. You may write words in your narrative, that's fine, but it's also good to have a sketch handy. Remember, we're comparing imagery to imagery, dream imagery to a picture. So the verbalizing of it is not always going to be tracking what the picture is that you intend to dream about, just like in remote viewing. How many times did you hear people say, just sketch what you see, don't tell me what you see? So there's a little bit of that disconnect in the analysis of what we do, even at a subconscious level during a dream. It's very similar to remote viewing in that sense. And I'll have a lot more to say about that on Friday. Now, if you wake up and you just don't remember anything, you thought you had a dream, but you didn't remember it, don't worry about that. Just repeat your objective, and you'll go back to sleep, and then you'll eventually will have a dream that you'll remember enough of to jot down. And you go, when you slip back to sleep, then just repeat the focus. A desire to have a dream, not any dream, but a dream that has the content of the target picture. So you keep reiterating the objective, the one that you wrote down, and if you wake up at night, just keep repeating that if nothing is happening. Now, because our dream cycle is sort of wavy like this, and toward the end of the night, it gets longer, but you're not in as deep a sleep. You're still in the REM, the rapid eye movement phase. The dream will be longer, but it's easier to remember. Normally, dreams that occur late at night are easier to remember. The exceptions would be nightmares or people that might have night traumas or something like that. But normally, it's easier to remember a dream later at night when you already are about to wake up anyway. And this is where the dream, the psi part of the target picture will slip into your dreamscape, and there you have it. It's easier to remember because it's later at night. Now, I mentioned previously, wake up, write a brief description, and note in your write-up, when you're thinking about it and reliving it, just note the colors, note anything about the dream that you might characterize, the content of it. I'm not going to go into any specific example here. I could load dozens of pictures, but I don't want to front-load you into thinking about certain pictures. It can happen, and then you'll dream about that. So, whatever the case, when you write the narrative, go back and take another look at it, and underline what you think might be interesting, a little different maybe from ordinary dreams if you have a dream history, and even if you don't, just circle or underline something for your benefit mainly, and we'll discuss that on Friday. And just note any directions or activity. Now remember, this is a static, it's a picture. It's just a picture. But as anyone's familiar with art, you know that the eye will follow certain lines. The picture might be static, but it fills the subconscious mind with a sense of motion anyway. So a so-called static picture can be very dynamic in a dream state. A dynamic picture can even be more dramatic. But just because it's a picture doesn't mean there won't be any perceived activity or dynamics. A dreaming mind is a wonderful way of energizing things, because dreams they're dynamic. They're like movies. I call them mind movies. And when you start working with this material and you can see how the picture gets into your dreams, it really is like looking at a movie. I call them the mind movies. Most any dream is like that, but these are even more powerful. They seem to be even more movie-like. So you give a sketch and give the dream a title. Go back, look at it, and say, oh, okay, what's the essence of that dream? Is there a theme here? Is there something that a title might capture? It's a good practice to get into that, because when you start keeping a dream journal, in time, the easiest way to go back and review your material is by jumping from title to title. And if you put it into a computer, this is really great stuff. You can just do the word search, and then you have the content that you're looking for, no matter when it happened. I began dream journaling in 1970, long before the computer, so my files are horrible. I can hardly extract anything out of them at this stage, but you have the benefit of the internet and computers. You don't have to burden yourself with huge notebooks like I have over the years. A few more comments about guidelines. If you should have more than one dream a night, and you probably will, it's usually, and again, this is not a hard rule, it's just something I've seen in working over the years with dream groups. It's usually that last dream of a series of dreams that will be more in line with the content of the target. If the dream is long, then it would be a good idea if you just pay attention to the ending of it. I've also experienced long dreams that don't look like much, but the ending then ends up with the material that you're looking for in the hidden picture or whatever. So it kind of came into the tail end of a long dream. Now, in the workshop, I'll be talking about dream crafting, how you can actually shape the style and the length of the dreams so you can get rid of or eliminate or minimize a lot of the nuisance things that happen when you have dreams and you have a lot of extraneous information coming along in with it. So there are ways of strategizing your way out of it, but we're not going to get into that tonight. I talked about highlighting features, the forms, the shapes, the colors, the dynamics, sense of emotion, feelings that it might invoke. And do that sketching, put color in if you have color pencil. And then on Friday, you will see what the target picture is. You will find out the truth. Now, here we are. It's time to get the target picture envelope. And where did I put it? Yeah. Okay. I have in here the double-sealed envelope. It is a picture. It could be of anything. I'm not even going to comment any further than that. It's open-ended. It's a free response kind of target, like perhaps they used in the Gonsfeld and other studies like that. And it's similar to how the Maimonides people did this by selecting either art prints or important or interesting looking photographs or pictures. So it really is pictorial oriented. And that's all I'm going to say about it. It's a pictorial picture. And that's what you want to dream about. You want to have the content of this picture that's in the sealed envelope enter your dreamscape, whether you do it by imagining accessing this photograph, this envelope, and getting into the contents like Pat Price did into the code words of that secret building that NSA had there, Sugarloaf, or whether you move ahead in time to meet your future, if that's the way you want to look at it, or to precognitively experience the picture 5 days from now. So whatever your strategy. But this is the envelope. Here is a label I put on it. In remote viewing work, this is like a coordinate. It's a number. It's abstract. It gives you something to kind of focus on psychologically. There's nothing magic about the number. The only thing about this combination of alphabet and number is it's random. Doesn't make any sense. The reason for that is, just like in remote viewing, you don't want to have anything that's logical attached to a target designator. You want to detach your conscious thinking here. An abstract number like this will do it, but you're in a dream state, so your conscious mind is already detached. You have a huge advantage over remote viewers. You already got your conscious mind out of the way. Now welcome your dreaming mind. And that's what we're going to be doing. You are going to be doing that this week, whatever night is convenient for you. And then we will look at the response on Friday morning. I think that's all I wanted to say. You have the handout in front of you that has the summary of what I just talked about. And other than that, I'm saying to you, sleep well and dream target. And any questions you can now bring forth. Q. It's a Q. Okay, sleep well and dream target. You don't have to. Okay.
The other thing is, have you found anyone takes melatonin? Do you think that helps at all, taking melatonin?
It can help you. The question was, does melatonin help? I've heard a number of arguments that certain vitamins or melatonin can help in dream recall. Yes, it can. If you're not experienced with dream recall, those might be good additives. It won't hurt you. It'll help you. And but the key thing is to set the focus on wanting to remember, and your subconscious mind will do it for you. It might take a little longer, but you'll get there. Okay, so I'll see you all on Friday morning, and I'll be looking forward to hearing your dream reports. Ought to be really interesting. Any other questions, please come up and talk to me. I'll be here for a while yet. Okay. 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 Okay.